class. My name is Miriam Bertzel, and today we're gonna be sharing our last learning teaching interaction, and it covers not as many chapters as before, but all of them very interesting. So to start with, chapter 3 in principles and practices for effective outreach, we learn about the importance of evaluation, and to me it was very helpful to read it because I learned to understand better what is the purpose of having an evaluation, in this case in our workshop. So really what evaluation does is just gather the information. Now it doesn't have to show great results, right? Because according to the book, the evaluations also grow up with the workshop, with the classes that we share. So just the point to focus is just to see the end result. So what else do we need to improve? What do we need to change? So that's why it's important for me to understand what is the goals and objectives. So when we talk about the goals, it's just the more it's more specific than a vision. Vision is general, what do you want to accomplish. In my case, with our workshop for the young single adults, we just want them to date effectively, and that's our vision. And in our goals and objectives, they're more specific. Like, for example, we just want them to understand what are the stages of our relationship, or how to move on after it's done, so they can at the end have a healthy relationship, and they can identify when they're not in one, making this dating a whole new experience and a better experience for them. So what do I need to do to see if my workshop is being effective or not? Well, evaluations are gonna tell me how much I need to change, improve, or keep. So the kind of information, putting the right questions is going to give you the right information. So it is important to understand what do we need to accomplish with this evaluation. So when my teammate and I did, we're just trying to get an evaluation where we can see how much they know before and how much they ended up knowing after the workshop. And it's some good, interesting questions that Emma did to us is, what if they don't go all these people don't go to both workshops? What if you had different audience in the second workshop than compared to the first workshop? So I got a great idea from Sister Dilworth, and we can also just divide the evaluation, so those who attend to the first one, they can give us the feedback from that part of the evaluation, because an overall they wouldn't even know. They need to go to both. So in that way we can have still good information from both groups about what they learn in that workshop. So asking the right questions is very vital, is important. The next chapter was the Appendix E, which talks about ethics and and family life education. And ethics is easy because it's something like white or black, is good or bad. But in some cases in family life education could be a little bit hard, because you have some standards to follow, and sometimes between them they get into conflict. So if we don't have an ethical standard, then we can do more harm than what we can help. Relational ethics, it focuses on the importance of relationships, of any kind of interaction. So in the virtue ethics, it's what characteristics are important, for me to embody as family life educator, which I didn't know. But 3 virtues in this is caring, prudence or practical wisdom, and hope or being optimistic. It is interesting because basically, if you will remember right, being a family life educator, you just prevent. So how do you prevent? All these 3 virtues for sure are going to help us to be more effective in many ways. So what it got my attention with all these ethics is that some of them you can have some tension or contradiction in some of them. For example, one that I really got my attention is the impact or power that a family life educator can have on parents and family. And if you realize having power to influence others is huge. But on the other hand, you really need to make a difference, and sometimes trying to guide parents or youth or people is not easy if they're not willing to accept the help. But knowing that I have that power, it makes me feel that I can do better. So other ones are, related, all the principles related to youth and children was very interesting to me. And relationship with colleagues, it's just we need to recognize that there's a difference between personal and professional values and in our professional interactions. So we have all personalities, different personalities, but at the end we need to look at the end, what we want to accomplish as a family life educators. In the very last chapter, we keep talking about the how to identify how to solve an ethical problem, and they give us 5 steps, which in my in the ethical case was very helpful to know what is it that is important for me to look for. The last part is learning about the difference between family life educator, family therapist, and family case management. It was very interesting for me to know that there's differences, but at the same time they're kind of embodied, like they want the same goal, they want the same end product, but it's just different approaches. So as I mentioned, family life educators, we are more on we're gonna prevent. Therapists and case management, they're not in the prevention as much as family life educators are. They're more into the let's fix the problem kind of thing. So how do you know why, or what is the difference? Well, it is, as I say, it's basically that we need to realize what does a family life educator does, so we don't get confused of I can do some therapy, or I can give some advice, or I can refer these. The book actually shows a very interesting page where you can see all the objectives. So far for me, family life educator is what I want, and is what I really want to focus on. But in the other hand, I think I'm getting now more attractive to therapists. Anyway, knowing this, it gives me just the tools that I need to make a decision. So I hope you have a great experience during these chapters, and thank you for listening.